Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3 and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Collin II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame, future MCU stars, and Cardo.
I think you need to workshop that one a little more.
Alright.
Just joking.
That's fine, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so get back to us in a couple weeks and let us know what your real name is.
Alright.
Speaking of future MCU stars, wow, that's weird that you brought that up.
Yeah, I know.
Why would you bring that up?
I know, it was a coincidence.
Yeah, totally a coincidence. Kat Dennings and Brie Larson. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were in a sitcom together playing sisters,
it's true.
which is weird. Now I think they need to be they need to share a scene in an MCU movie.
It's possible.
They could.
I mean, they could make it work. Technically, they could make it even. I mean, I don't know, but they could have made it work with Thor, God of, Love and Thunder, kind of, because Cat's friends with Jane, and Captain Marvel's running around the universe.
What's Kat Dennings' character's name again?
I always forget her name. I don't know.
Damn it. That's gonna bother me now. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Okay.
Yes, but anyways, today we are covering the 2001-2002 television series Raising Dad, which was a sitcom created by Jonathan Katz, loosely based on his own life. Most people would know Jonathan Katz from Dr. Katz, the amazing animated series.
I remember that.
Yeah, so basically, it's like the Bob Saget character in this show. Yeah, Bob Saget's in this as well. Was the stand-in for Jonathan Katz. So this was all written by him and stuff, or mostly. So based on his life of how he would, in his stand-up, and I think he might have been a teacher as well, would talk about his kids and stuff in the stand-up, and it would piss them off and whatnot. So, yeah. So that kind of leaked into the plot of the first episode. So maybe other ones, because I don't know. I didn't watch any more.
Yeah, either did I. I only saw the first one.
Yeah. So, what's going on in this shindig of a TV show here that we watched?
The shindig of it. Bob Saget, which I don't know the character's name.
His character's name was Matt.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was a Matt, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Matt Stewart.
Oh, that's right, Matt Stewart. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he drives his daughter to school, and his daughter's basically like, "Hey, can you not embarrass me? You know, because you're my dad, and I don't like the fact that you teach here, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's trying to do the whole like, "I'm gonna use like the slang that the youth use." Like he's like, "I like to chill with my crew back in the day or whatever," which I think even in 2001, I don't even think teenagers were saying that. But like, okay, and then um, I mean, maybe mid 90s. I don't know. I wasn't a teenager in the mid 90s, but I don't know. Whatever. So
I was a teenager in the mid '90s.
yeah, was anyone saying that?
Saying what? Saying what was this?
Chill with your crew. Was that a thing
Um.
people said?
Well, every Friday, me and my crew would get together and we would chill.
Hmm.
We'd just sit there out on the porch in the middle of December and chill.
Like literally
Yeah.
chilling. Yeah.
While we were, we were on the rowing crew. That's why we'd say that. And
Yeah.
we'd get into our rowing boats, but the water was all iced over, so we couldn't go anywhere.
So you just chilled, literally. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I would chill with my crew.
So that's something that actually happened. Okay, so that's what he says, and then she's like, "Ugh,
Hey,
God."
Matt, guess what?
What's that?
Guess what? I
What?
just made all that up. It didn't really happen.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't athletic in high school. I don't even think my school had a rowing team.
I don't think so either.
No.
But I don't think most schools do. But
No.
anyway, I don't know if you live by like a lake or something, but it'd be kind of weird if you're landlocked to, have a rowing. But
I mean, we're on the Maumee River, so
yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's
Hmm.
a little bit different, but because you want to get on the freaking river, but
yeah.
anyway, so she leaves. She's like, "Oh, I love you," and then he yells, "I love you" back, and that embarrasses her. Blah blah blah. She meets this guy she likes, and who's in her dad's class, and she apologizes for him being in her dad's class, but then he's like, actually, he seems like he's pretty cool. So then she's like, "Oh yeah, he's the best." So doing that whole thing, and then Mr. Lack of Boundaries here, which I hate to share this guy's name, because I think I'm pretty good with, protecting, people's boundaries. But apparently this guy named Matt isn't, because he's a fucking teacher. And he's just going around because he's talking about dreams, and he's having people write down like recurring dreams. So you've got like the
Yes.
typical stoner guy or like the spaz guy who's like, I've had a recurring dream, but only had it once. Does that count? It's like, yeah, okay, that counts.
Write it down, and he's like, I can't remember it.
Yeah, so it's like that typical spaz stereotype, like whatever. Then you got another guy who's like, I've got a recurring daydream. Does that count? And Matt's like, yeah, against you. I'm not even sure what that means.
I don't know.
I didn't even get the joke of what that was even supposed to mean. Okay, whatever. And then like maybe there was some nuance there that was lost in translation or whatever. I don't know. But like, so he just proceeds to start talking about this recurring dream that his daughter's been having for like the past like 10 years, or no, not 10, like maybe like a couple of years, where she's like holding on to like a bunny rabbit kind of toy or whatever, and then she chewed the ears off because she's like so scared. And what did she say? Something about, what was the name she was calling out to? I forgot.
I just watched this episode and I still forgot it.
I forgot the name that.
It was some kind of like almost vaguely Native American sounding name of some sort.
Like, almost like a racist version of what they would think. Like, I don't even want. I didn't want to make up a name because I don't want.
No,
to sound
me
like,
either. So,
but like something like that. Some Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry.
don't want to make up a name, especially since I think earlier this week I was arguing with somebody online about why it's a good thing that the Cleveland Indians are no longer the Cleveland Indians and now are the Guardians.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just saying that.
So he basically just tells his whole story to the entire class, and then her best friend was in that class, and then she sneaks into the math class that Kat's character. I'm not sure her name is in the show either, but I'm just gonna call her Kat. I'm just gonna call her by her real name. So
It's Sarah.
Sarah, that's right, Sarah. So she sneaks into the math class that Sarah's in as that class is like, wrapping up. And with that class, we get the stereotypical teacher who's like very boring. He doesn't have like any emotion in his voice. He's like, did anyone understand how to do the assignment without the use of a calculator?
Yeah,
And
it
like,
was he was played also by Andy Kindler, who is a voice actor and stand-up comic. He had been on Dr. Katz and Home Movies, both produced by the same people, and
yeah,
had recurring role on Everybody Loves Raymond, and he plays the character of Mort the Mortician on Bob's Burgers.
yeah.
So there we
A
go.
pretty well-rounded like career. This guy,
Yeah,
he's
he's a
got
good
like,
actor. So
and I've seen some of the stand-up stuff, way funnier than this bit in the
yeah,
show. But and so he's like the boy math teacher, blah blah blah. And then her friend comes in and she mentions like the part of the dream, and then like Sarah's like what are you talking about? Then she finally and light bulb goes on like, oh shit, did he actually talk about this dream, in front of the entire class or whatever? Um, so she goes home. She's kind of pissed off about that. Meanwhile, so Grandpa here, I forgot his character's name. He lives in the same apartment or whatever they live in, and he's been like basically covering for Brie Larson's character, which I don't know her name, and like she's the one that.
she is. I'll
It's
tell you,
fine. I'm terrible at these names.
Emily Stewart.
It's like Emily. So she's been like wanting to like cut class a lot, and he's been basically covering for her by saying like, "Oh, she's sick," or whatever. And somehow, like the dad doesn't know this. Like that's a weird school system where like you could just take someone out of school without the parent knowing about it. But okay, whatever. And it's like, well, the grandparent did. It's like, yeah, but I think the parent should also be informed that it happened. Like it's bad organizational skills. What I'm saying, you got to be consistent about these things. Whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, basically.
that's a weird. That's just like a weird like me being like a structural like, oh, everything's gonna be according to plan. Whatever. Anyway, um, so she's been, because the reason why is because their mom had recently passed away. I don't know how long ago in the timeline of the show, but kind of recently, somewhat. And so she's kind of dealing with that by just
So
wanting
yeah,
to
and
like,
it's another show where Bob Saget has some daughters
yes,
and a dead wife.
yeah, but this is a little bit more of like a modern take, like
Yeah,
the city life, like they live in an
yeah.
apartment.
This was on like the WB.
Was that what it was? Okay,
Yeah,
WB.
it aired after Reba.
Oh, that's an interesting lineup.
Yeah, I actually liked Reba. Don't tell anybody, except for all of our listeners. But
I won't. I mean, I did not like it, but I don't care.
yeah. I don't know why I did, but I don't think I could watch it again. But I used to watch the reruns of it all the time. Like it was on in the afternoon or something on one of those cable channels, and I would just watch it because there was nothing else good on. And then I got but it got to the point where I started really actually liking the show. I started out as like a hate watch, and then I started liking it, and I'm just like,
it's
oh.
like the post ironic.
Yeah. And I will tell you this. I know we're getting off topic here, but Reba McEntire does one hell of a concert. I saw her once.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not a country fan. I'm not even a Reba fan, but she can work the crowd. She did this really cool. She had like a round stage with the whole with the crowd like surrounding her on all stages, and she played to every side and everything. It was just really a good show, and this was probably about 20 or 30 years ago. But it was great. So there.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So
but anyway, so
came
it was of that time where you had these like, it was post like Cosby, more post the Roseanne and Married with Children era, where you did have like more almost realistic type family portrayals or different types of families as opposed to your nuclear mom, dad, you know, being the like the father knows best, leave it to Beaver sort of families, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was pre-Post Malone, so
Yeah.
You know,
Pre-Post Malone.
Yeah, I don't know. And,
I mean, I just found out like a couple days ago that Post Malone isn't a cereal, and
you're looking for it. They're like, wait a minute. If my cereal box needs an auto tune, it's not. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he's one of those guys, man. Where like his music sounds nothing like what I would think of.
Oh yeah.
Like when I first saw him, I thought either this guy's like in an extreme metal band, or maybe he's doing some kind of rap thing. Like, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's none of that. Like,
and I mean, and his face looks like he fell asleep on top of it looks like when silly putty falls onto a newspaper.
Yeah.
And then you lift it up.
Face tattoos, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, more power to him. I have nothing against him. So.
No, I just say music's very like it's like pop, and some of it's kind of sad almost.
Yeah.
And, like it's just it's interesting. I mean, I'm not a huge fan. I've heard a few of his songs, they're okay, but like I'm not like
his cover of that Hootie and the Blowfish song was actually pretty good too.
I haven't even heard that.
Yeah, he covered a Hootie and the Blowfish song. I can't remember which one, but yeah, look it up.
You know, I'm gonna post-it notes. What they call super fans.
Yeah,
you know,
write it on a post-it note so you can remember to look it up.
Yeah. Post Malone it. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go on.
So back to Raising Dad.
Yeah, Raising Dad. So Grandpa's covering for Emily.
Yeah, she doesn't want to go to school because she's dealing with the grief of losing her mom.
And so he's like telling her like, you know, I don't know how much longer we can keep this up because we're running out of excuses, type of thing, you know. And then Emily, you know, like this piece of shit that she is, she's reading from her journal. Yeah, I know it's a really mean thing to say about like an 8-year-old, but like, or whatever. I don't know how.
Well, I mean, I will tell you this: Brie Larson did a great job here. You could tell that she was going to be a future Academy Award-winning actress, because she acted the shit out of this episode, in my opinion, for being a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I agree, but like,
no,
she's reading from her journal, and then Sarah is like can overhear her, and she's saying that, oh, well, she misses her mom more than Sarah does. It's like, fuck you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, like what a thing to say. Like, and that's why, you know, they should only have that in therapy. Don't like say that.
Yeah,
shit
yeah. I mean, my thing is I don't know if they're in future episodes deal with it at all, but these girls need therapy. They don't need just their dad and their grandpa kind of trying to deal with this situation.
Well, this is before therapy was normalized at all. So
yeah,
like, this is like back when therapy was like only if you had like an eating disorder or something like else like really extreme. Like,
so did the grandpa kill his wife?
Yes. Wait, what? I don't know.
Because he was talking on the phone and he was saying how their family has a long history of bad hamstrings. It says that's what killed my wife, and it's like, I thought your wife was killed by a bus, and it's just like, yeah, but because she couldn't outrun the bus, and it was like, yeah, and that's why, you know, and I lost my license.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a funny thing. Like, your wife died, and it's a joke because you hit the wife with your bus. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny that your wife got killed by a bus accident? Awesome.
That you may or may not have been driving.
But, you know, may have been joking, or it could have been this is like secret dark
Yeah.
interpretation of the show is that the men in
Hmm.
this family killed their wives, and then
That's when we
they
find out in the next episode. It gets
yeah
really,
so
really,
technically
it gets really dark, and there's like this
it
secret
gets
society of men who've killed their wives.
yeah so that they can take full custody of their
And Matt
daughters.
and his dad are like member of the president and the vice president of the.
Yeah, and the reason why is because they took like feminism way too far, where they're like, oh, the feminists said that men can be caregivers too, but then they're like, well, wait a minute, what if we go the extra mile and then we just killed them and then we become the like sole caretakers of them and like we'll try it out, and then that's when the secret society formed, right?
I think
Between
we're giving away too many good ideas here.
no, well, hold on a second, I got one more, and then I know we are, but we got one more. So, and the reason why it's called Raising Dad, because really, right beneath the A, there's a tiny little E, and it really means raising the dead. So they're actually then going to try to resurrect their wife.
My
And like
mind was going there too, but you went there
oh,
first.
really? Okay. So, so then like they're going to try to do some like ritual to bring them back, and then at that point, they'll have like superpowers, and then the wives will then they'll get to choose, right? Because it is a feminist show, so like they'll get to choose whether or not to give some of the powers to their husbands, or at least just like not necessarily transfer them, but just like they don't lose any of their power if they give the power to their husbands. It's not like they're going 50-50. Like they'll still maintain like 100% of the power, but they can choose to either give some of it to their husbands so that they can also have that power, or they could then kill the men as revenge for killing them in the first place, at which point it would be called Raising Mom. So we don't really know yet what's
So
going to happen.
this is all coming to the family friendly Friday night of the
Yeah.
2001
Yeah.
WB.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the secret dark history of Raising Dad. Anyway.
Followed by Reba. Oh, wait.
I'm mentally ill, so this is the stuff I think of. Anyway, what else happens?
So you know, basically we have this dinner scene where Sarah is giving her dad the silent treatment because she's pissed off that he said a bunch of shit in his class, you know, or like two things. So
I know, but still,
yeah. Then he follows
her
her into her bedroom after she, you know, goes in there storming off, and he basically says that he's not going to do that again. And then the next day he does something just as stupid. He says that she sleeps with the light on. Basically, he's doing this whole scene though, or this whole little story about the light being on and talking about this great security system he has and these Rottweilers and stuff because he's trying to scare this kid that likes her.
Oh yeah,
because he talked about his dream, which was about a girl listening to the same Dave Matthews song as him who was naked, and he wanted to go dance with her. Yeah. So, yeah.
So how did he make the connection though that may have been talking about his daughter though? How did he even?
I think he knows that the dude liked Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get any.
I don't know how, but I mean, I'm sure that there was.
So again,
because obviously he's at the school, he probably sees things and knows, and you know how it goes.
And plus, too, if he's part of some weird secret society cult, he probably does have like insider information about this stuff. Yeah. So like, you know, and plus, too, I forgot. So like, he came over actually to give a CD. I think it was the Dave Matthews CD.
Oh no, it was Radiohead.
Oh, Radiohead. Sorry. And then Emily, like again, really good acting. She's like, "Oh, my friends call me M, or I don't know what it was, or something like that."
Yeah.
So then he calls her M. And she's like, "No, you're not my friend, or whatever. Like, call me Emily, or whatever."
Yeah.
And slams the door in his face, and then she just kind of, I don't know.
She doesn't give the CD to Sarah.
Yeah, so Sarah's like, "What are you talking about? I didn't get any CD, blah blah blah, whatever." And that's pretty much all that happens, really. He says, you know, more things about.
Says more things about her. Then eventually they have a scene where they decide what they're not gonna say, that he's not allowed to say, which is a very similar thing to what I've heard from stand-up comic friends of mine, or stand-up comics I've heard on podcasts and in other interviews, where they will have things that they won't. They'll talk about, things with their family or their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whatever, but there are certain things that are going to be off limits, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And so that's what it kind of reminded me of, is more about a stand-up comic than a teacher.
Right.
And so he decides not to, tell anything. The next morning, the cute guy asks Sarah to the Dave Matthews concert.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I mean, I will tell you this: there's nothing more 2001 than Kat Denning, Dave Matthews, and Bob Saget.
I kept talking about that. I kept thinking of that Mark Maron bit about the Dave Matthews.
Oh yeah.
Concert when he's like in Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
and like the barista, he's kind of nervous for a second. He's like, "Oh yeah, who are you gonna see?" He's like, a Dave Matthews Band," and then there's like this moment of tension.
Yeah.
He's like, "I love Dave Matthews Band too. That's great." It's like,
oh jeez.
it was great them to share that moment, because to put yourself out there as a Dave Matthews fan, it's just not easy.
Oh.
You don't know how it's gonna land.
Never.
Oh man.
Did you want to take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and talk about some reviews of the show?
Yeah, because I want to listen to a Dave Matthews Band song really quick.
Okay, so we'll be back in about 5 hours. Don't they jam a lot? I don't know. Yeah. All I remember is we'll talk about more Dave Matthews maybe after this break. We'll be right back.
No Outlet Live.
Hey, I'm Jay Remy, host of No Outlet Live. If you're in a podcast that explore any and everything, check us out. We stream anywhere you listen or watch podcasts, or just type No Outlet Live, one word, in your Google search bar to find the show. Live Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. No Outlet Live, your road to boredom ends here. Do you like Tessa? Do you think this will be a date that can last?
Well, she's not very articulate.
Okay, so Matt's like 20 years older now. He just listened to a jam album by Dave Matthews. Yeah. I hear that their version of Crash that somebody bootlegged on October 3rd of 2020 was really good.
Yeah.
But not as good as the one from November of 2005.
Or 2005.
I just wanted to sound fancy.
Yeah. And the one for 2020 was interesting because, there wasn't much touring going on because of COVID. So, but they're like, no, we're gonna crash into COVID, if you will. And
yes,
actually, that's not a good phrase.
No,
because then it's gonna spread COVID everywhere.
So the thing I was going to mention about our good friends Dave Matthews band. So when I was in college, I was in a play, and we had this like cast party one day after rehearsal or something, and I sat there and I don't remember all the details per se, but there was this really cute girl in the cast. And for some odd reason, they all wanted to play, like, strip poker. I didn't know how to play poker, so I didn't do that. But the whole time they're playing it, the album Crash by Dave Matthews is playing in the background. And the girl lost, and she was completely naked in the room while I'm sitting there listening to Dave Matthews. I ended up making out with this girl later on, but that was another story altogether. But I'm just saying,
it's like such a disturbing like image. It's
like I just met this girl like 2 or 3 weeks before, and all of a sudden she's just
like sitting there like dissociating, listening to Dave Matthews.
Yeah, I was just sitting there on this couch listening to Dave Matthews because I was stuck there because my ride was playing poker.
And then there's just some naked woman just in there, just like, what
Yeah.
the hell is going on? Oh god.
Not to mention a couple of half-naked guys that I didn't really want to see, but
Oh my god.
it was the weirdest freaking night of my life.
Talk about secret society. That
Yeah.
sounds like a big Bob Saget. Maybe he was involved with that. You know, the wife murdering the secret society. You know.
But anyways, and that was by the way, that was the only CD in the CD player. It was a CD changer, like a 5-disc changer.
Wow, that makes it even worse.
But all it had in it was Crash.
They had multiple choices. They only chose one, and that was it.
Yeah.
Multiple consecutive. It wasn't like you had to take one out. Like you could have added more CDs to it, and you still. No, let's keep Dave Matthews. You know, I used to have. You know, this was so cool. Like back in the day. Nowadays, think about it. That's like, why would that even be a big deal? Because now we have playlists and shit. But like back then, like in like 2002 or whatever, you know, I got the CD player. It had like I think I had like 4, maybe 5 different like, you know, slots.
Yeah.
And but you could also do shuffle, but it would shuffle. It wouldn't just be one CD, so it would like
shuffle all of them. I used to have that too.
But like the little moving disc, you know, because it's moving to like the next CD, and like I thought that was the coolest thing in the world at the time. I was like, oh my god, I got 4 CDs in here right now. I hit shuffle, and I might be listening to Metallica, or it might go to like this, you know, mix CD I've got with like, you know, like 311 or you know, whatever, you know.
But the thing is, people now with Spotify and Pandora and stuff don't realize how cool that was back then.
I know, seriously, it was so cool because back then it was like, you know, you had the option of making like your own mix CDs, fair, okay, or a mix tape, you know, if you still like had cassette tapes, and but the thing is though, is like, you know, a CD still to this day only holds 80 minutes of music, unless you know how to do some weird manipulations where you can make it like last longer, but like for the most part, like if you don't know how like hack a CD, you can't do anything like that. Like so it's like yeah, you can make a mix CD of like 80 minutes, and really even then you shouldn't make it go all the way to 80 minutes because a lot of times the CD might not work as well, so you really got to clock out around 78 minutes just to be safe. But but fine, whatever. And then, but like, with, you know, if you got a 4 CD changer thing, let's say each CD itself is an hour long, well, that's, you know, 4 hours worth of shuffling. Whereas before, you know, you could only have like, you know, maybe 78 minutes of like.
I had some kind of stereo that I knew it was more than 4. It was like maybe 10 or so that you could put in there.
Damn.
That was pretty sweet.
Awesome.
I also in a short time we had a car, my ex and I, where it had like a CD changer in the trunk, which is the most odd place to have it. But you had to go into you had to open the trunk to put the CDs in, but you could put like 6 CDs in there, 5 or 6. I can't remember how many. But yeah, we couldn't open the door for a while though. There was something wrong with it, and we had only had 1 CD in there at that point.
Oh, God.
And it was some kind of self-help CD that my ex had bought.
So it just kept playing.
But, I mean, it was luckily not like on How I Met Your Mother where you just had to listen to the Proclaimers over and over again or something. But it was it was like the only choice we had besides radio. So that kind of sucked.
That's like, you have like the weirdest stories.
I know.
You got like naked woman, strip poker, Dave Matthews Band CD. You got a self-help CD and a CD player that's in the trunk of a car for some reason.
That's how they designed it. This was like a Ford Escort or
that's
something.
Like the dumbest idea ever. Like, what if you wanted to change a CD, like while someone's in the passenger seat, where you gotta crawl into the trunk of the car?
Yeah, it's like I think they did have like a tape player in the front. Where you could, you know, just like a regular tape deck in the front, but it had the 6 changer in the back. So I guess they just assumed people would put their 6 favorite CDs or the 6 CDs they want to listen to in there before they go on their road trip.
Oh, Sure,
But
I get,
but
but
but literally we drove to New York in that car, and we had to pull over a couple times to just put in new CDs because we got bored with the ones we had in there. So
yeah,
it was just like
New York is like a 12-hour drive from
some I
Toledo.
can't remember, but whatever it was a long
Yeah,
drive.
it is.
That's another story for another podcast. Anyway, so
Yeah, not the what's it called? Raising Dad. There you go.
yeah, so here's some. Want to hear some reviews from Raising Dad?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we got one that says a great show. I really like this show. Too bad it won't be back in this fall. This was written on August 14th of 2002. I keep wanting to say 20. 2002 by Kenny C. Hewholt. I really like this show. It's too bad it won't be back this fall. I really liked Saget's role as Danny Tanner on Full House, and was glad to see him back on Raising Dad. Also, Kat Dennings and Brie Larson are really talented young actresses. And there's Jerry Adler and Andy Kindler. They're really great too. They really need to bring the show back on television. It's probably good they didn't.
Yeah.
Or Brie Larson might not be Captain Marvel.
Right. Well, that might have actually, satisfied some fans. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Another one says Full House Clone. This is from Matt Kratz.
No, not.
Yeah, back
not
in
even.
August of 2002. I keep doing that again. This show is a lot like Full House, with Bob Saget again playing a widowed father.
Nope.
Who gets outside help from friends raising his daughters. It's
Nope.
an okay show at best. I sort of like it, as the show does have some funny moments.
Nope. Not even close.
Yeah. Another one says Full House Revisited.
Nope.
Yeah, this is from Hellraiser 40. Because Hellraiser 1 through 39 didn't have an opinion.
Right.
This is written in 2003 after the show had been canceled. This is like Full House, a show about a divorced man who lives with his daughters and his father. I don't remember that part of Full House, and encounters all kinds of funny situations. Ha ha, I'm laughing already. Now for how the show turns out in reality. This is the kind of moralistic show without any decent funny situations that I really can't watch without getting frustrated. I know that not every show can be like The Simpsons or Married with Children, but couldn't they do better than reusing the Full House format? I mean, Bob Saget plays the exact same role, and he and the rest of the actors are as funny as that previous show. Totally not. This is not the way it goes in real families, or is the American lifestyle that hypocritic and unrealistic. It stuns me that this kind of tripe gets made when much better shows like Grounded for Life shows how it could be done. But no, let's make another Full House because people liked it so much. Well, watching this junk embarrasses me completely. Acting, directing, writing, all for nothing. I can say I hope this show will appear in the garbage bin very soon. Okay.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm pretty sure that's how they sound when they read this.
Yeah, okay, Hellraiser. A, you're wrong about everything you've said, and so that already makes you a moron. But
well, they are raising hell, though.
They're
not raising Dad; they're raising hell.
Like, where'd you get the idea that this is just like Full House, just because of that one similarity? Like, okay, where the dad? Where's the grandpa in Full House? And like, when they're saying, oh, people really like that show, right? It's like, yeah, they did actually, because that show was on for like how many seasons? Like, it was a huge hit show. So, like, why are you sarcastically saying, like, oh, everyone loved that show, right? It's like, they did, though. Like,
I'm looking over the other reviews that Hellraiser 40 has made.
Yeah.
And most of them are pretty bad. Like, they don't do any good reviews.
It's just like doing what we do, but
Yeah.
and just write reviews.
Mhm.
But like, we don't get angry like this guy does. Like this guy
No.
seemed like he took it personally almost. Like, well, I will say there was a few shows where I did take personally of how bad they were, but like,
Yeah.
I can't think of them offhand right now, but because I think I've maybe repressed them a little bit. But so yeah, there were a few shows that I took personally, but not this one. I'd say it's okay, not great, a little derivative, but okay.
So here's another review, and it's both a good review and creepy at the same time.
Okay.
The headline is Brie Larson. This was written on March 8th of 2017 by Dr. Al, actually, Dr. Al, Dr. period Al. So I'm going to call them Dr.
Okay.
Al. So this medical professional decided to write a review.
Yeah.
I remember this show because my son would go on and on about the physical attributes of Kat Denning and how hot she was. A girl that was about his age. I remember the show was kind of funny, but Kat wasn't much of an actress, and the rest of the cast was just ordinary, except for the youngest daughter. She was very good and was easily the best actor on the show, which makes sense since it was an Oscar winner Brie Larson playing the part.
Yeah, but that was like before she was like.
Yeah, no, she was good on the show. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think she was
I'm
good.
just saying, like, you're
it-
acting like you like stole the show or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, well, we only saw one episode, so who knows? Maybe she did the rest of it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I just find it creepy that he has to talk about the physical attributes of Kat Denning. Even if he was saying his son said it, but still, why bring it up in the review?
I don't know. He may have just because maybe at the time his son was just going on and on about it. Maybe because he was like 16, it's hormones, so he could like, oh, there's really hot chick in the show, Dad. I don't know what the context was.
I mean, I know. I just think it's kind of
Yeah. Well, then again, but we are talking about a show though where it's about dads who overshare shit about their children. So I guess it's
appropriate.
It's inappropriate, but appropriate for the.
It's appropriately inappropriate.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. But then he's like, Brie Larson was like the best. I'm like, okay, whatever. But what did she win an Oscar? What did she win an Oscar? I know she's been in stuff before, Captain Marvel and stuff. But,
what's the name of that movie?
Because she was in a bunch of stuff. I mean, she was in.
She won an Oscar for a movie called Room, not The Room, but Room.
Oh yeah, not that one. Just Room itself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And she was also in
she's in a lot of movies. Yeah.
She was 21 Jump Street, I think. Was that her?
Yeah, she was in that.
She was I thought that one was kind of weird though too, because like
we can't forget her turn in Sleepover.
Of course not. How can we forget Sleepover? That classic with Jeff Garland's butt crack. Trying to fix the water filter.
That should have won an Academy Award. Jeff Garland's butt crack. If we would have known in the past that was the least offensive thing that Jeff Garland would do on a set.
See, now that takes a dark turn, right? So now I'm starting to wonder, did he do that intentionally to make people uncomfortable on set? Now knowing all the weird shit that he was doing on the Goldberg set. So was that like part of it? Like him like just being weird, like I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. It's hard to say. We don't know. We don't know the details. So, but still.
I'm wondering. That's all. Just because it did seem kind of out of character for a movie like that, for that to be like sort of inserted, if for want of a better word. You know, but
Oh Lord.
that's a good movie though. I mean, a really good movie to make fun of.
Yes,
But,
it is. So be sure to listen to our episode about Sleepover. It's one of our best episodes, honestly.
I personally so, and I think, I know that you're not supposed to say this, but I think it was in part a really good episode because I was taking shots of whiskey every half hour of it, and I think that was helping me loosen up because it was like a 2 hour long podcast about the sleepover.
Well, I think it was great because the whole time I was listening to Crash by Dave Matthews while a girl stripped near me. Wait. No, that didn't happen.
No, and I was drinking whiskey at the time. Yeah, and God damn. What were we talking about?
Raising Dad. Anyways, that's all the reviews I really feel like reading right now. What's your overall thoughts here? Did you like the show?
It was okay. I mean, like,
yeah,
you know, maybe I'll go over some of the other episodes that are online to see if it, you know,
if it gets better.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad
pilot.
It
was a decent pilot. I mean, it's not like the best pilot we've watched. It's not the worst we've watched either. So it's kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, it was a tad above just being bland too, which is like the worst middle ground there is, where you can't even make of it. Because, like, for example, like the Michael J. Fox show, like that was just not bad or good. It was just literally in the middle the whole time.
Yeah,
and it was like, at least this has a little bit bump up because we got Kat Dennings, we got Brie Larson, you know, we got Bob Saget, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, so we got that cast going on to kind of make it a little bit, you know,
a little poppier.
Just a little poppier. There you go. But as far as recommendations go, I'd say, sure, try it out if you want. You know, maybe watch a few episodes to see if it catches up. You know, if it gets better. It's certainly much better than some of the stuff we watched. Like that, really, for some reason, I kept thinking of that weird ass show we watched last July, I think, where it was like a musical and it had the woman who played Jan from The Office in it.
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La. That was bizarre, man. You should check out that episode too.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting musical, I guess.
Yes, it was. It was an interesting, like, Glee before Glee.
It stars or co-stars are one of our favorite actresses, who in the TV show she was trying to control other people's lives, much like how she did.
Yeah.
So anyway,
check out that episode and you'll find out who.
Something to do with Mac. Anyway.
Yes. Boy. Anyways, any other final thoughts here before we wrap things up?
No, not really.
No. Well, thoughts I have is, Brie Larson is awesome. She was an awesome kid. She's a great woman actress now. Don't hate on her. Don't hate on anybody, people.
Yeah.
Be good to each other. And, if you're ever listening to Crash, just think about my, situation.
It's his experience, yes.
Yeah, just think about my experience. It might lift up your day or bring it down, depending on how you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, really.
Because that was one of those weird situations where I was both sad and happy at the same time. So, anyways, check us out on all2real2.com. That's where you can find all links to all of our social medias and all that stuff. And our TeePublic, where you can get an awesome All Too Real 2 t-shirt. We might be getting some new ones soon with newer logos and stuff. I'm slowly phasing in our new logo on our artwork too, so hopefully you guys like that. But until next time, folks, be good. And bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.